on that field today? Ask yourself this question. What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Let's go! We ready! We ready! We ready! We ready! I'm going to the house! I'm going to the house! When I step on the field, I send one message. This is what it feels like. This is what it feels like. Football is getting hit. That's it. It's gonna be football now. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Let's hunt now.
Let's hunt. Let's hunt.
We ready? I'm going to the house. I'm going to the house. We're talking about the Jets like we're talking about the Saints. You know, all this trying to be the Miami Heat of football. Yeah. The bottom line is you got to buckle up your chin straps. It's embarrassing. Yeah. Don't disrespect the game like that. There's too much crying from him. He's a man. He can be a hit just like us. He's a man. You already make the big money. He's a man. I'm telling you, step on the field, man. That's who I am. When I step on the field, I send one message. This is what it feels like. Oh, my bad. You haven't worked in my world. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Let's go. Let's go.
My God, let's go. Can we take the overlay off just for a little bit? Please.
It's a wrap. Game over.
No, this game is not over. It's just getting started right here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. I'm AJ Jones. Keith Hennig, how you doing? Good afternoon to you, sir. Thank you for always being who you are on the Lunch Break Sports Talk Show here on the legendary KYOK. It's our Freestyle Friday. Got a couple of guests that's going to be joining us today. Keisha Kelley, I call her the queen of the Black College Experience. She'll be joining us in this first hour. And then I've asked Shirley Walker King, who is an author, a broadcast journalist. She's worked in programming for radio stations, TV stations, and she is an award-winning businesswoman. I'm looking forward to having her come on the show. We're going to have some adult talk, and I asked her to come on, and it stemmed from a question or statement that one of the listeners gave. AJ, how do your colleagues who are women feel about your position on Jason Kidd and Chauncey Billups? And I asked a couple people to come on, wasn't able to get them to do so. Not because they didn't want to, I don't believe, but because of scheduling. It was short notice. But Shirley Walker King graciously agreed to come through. So I'm looking forward to having her come on, and we just have some adult discussions. I'm going to add to that discussion Sha'Carri Richardson, because it's a big story. For those who don't know, one of the fastest women in the world is not going to be able to participate in the Olympics after testing positive for marijuana, and she owned it. She absolutely owned it. In fact, when we come back after this break, I will play her clip from the Today Show where she just flat out owned the decision that she made to smoke weed, to get high, and why. And I even just, right before I came on, I asked someone who made a very compelling comment if they would join the show and share their comments, because I tell you what, man, like with anything else, you got one extreme to the other. I'm going to read one lady's comments. I won't read her name. She didn't allow me to do that, so I just want to read her comments. I won't read her name. But she just called it ridiculous of Sha'Carri to make that decision knowing everything that she had at stake. We'll talk about all that when we come back, including Milwaukee's big win last night on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK.
Hello, this is Claude Cummings Jr., Vice President of Communication Workers of America District 6. Trey and I are inviting you to listen in to our new political talk show, Power to the People Political Hour.
Hello, this is Trey Daniels from the Daniels Group. Yes, Claude, the show will be hard-hitting and informative, talking about national and local political issues of the day, week, and month. Interviews will be with pastors, community leaders, elected officials, and political operatives. You know, Clyde, a part of our responsibility is informing the citizenry and give them power to the people.
That's right, Trey. We're asking that you listen in on 1140 AM, 92.3, or streaming on KYOKradio.org, Thursdays at 10 a.m. Give the people what they want.
The legendary KYOK 1140 AM and 92.3 FM. The legend continues.
I'm Ben Tankett, and you are listening to The Lunch Break.
All right, y'all, we're back here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. It is our Freestyle Friday, and if you want to get in, it's going to be a very conversational and interactive day today. Let me go ahead and hear from you now. 281-453-1000, 281-453-1000. Again, going to have Keisha Kelley join us in about 10 minutes or so, and then we'll I don't even have my mic on. Again, we are the Lunch Break Sports Talk Show here on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM, streaming live on KYOKradio.org. It's our Freestyle Friday. And if you want to get in, 281-453-1000. That's 281-453-1000. We're going to have Keisha Kelley joining us in the next few minutes, a little bit less than 10 minutes. But if you want to get in with your comments about anything, let's do that now. But here is what Sha'Carri Richardson, 100-meter Olympian, said on the Today Show this morning. Here's what she said. And of course, I don't have it. Wow. Okay, let me try this again. I should have known this was going to be that kind of day. All right, let's try this again. And no, we got some technical difficulties, so I don't have it. It's not ready, so we'll go without it for right now. But basically, she owned her situation, and she said that she had smoked marijuana because she had just heard that her birth mother had died, and she heard about it in an interview. She didn't hear about it from family members or anything like that. She heard about it in an interview from a reporter. And it was right before she was supposed to run. She's young, made a bad decision, got high, ran her race, dominated, and then failed the drug test for marijuana. I do have the statement from the USA Track and Field organization. They said Sha'Carri Richardson's situation is incredibly unfortunate and devastating for everyone involved. Athlete health and well-being continue to be one of the UTAF's most critical priorities, and we will work with Sha'Carri to ensure she has ample resources to overcome any mental health challenges now and in the future. But the bottom line is, because of the failed drug test, she was going to be suspended for at least 3 months. And because she agreed to, going through the drug therapy, it's only going to be 30 days instead of 90. So, again, a lot of folks are outspoken about it. I'm trying to find the right words and be respectful. A lot of folks are outspoken about it. It figures. The tweet that I wanted to respond to was deleted. No, it wasn't. Here it is. This person said, ridiculous. She knew the rules. Whoever she was with should have held her down and told her, don't do it. All of the sacrifices out the window for a few puffs, lesson learned. again, you know me, I try to accept everybody's side, everybody's opinion, everybody's thoughts, and what have you. But man, oh man, oh man, it is so easy to throw stones at somebody going through a situation or making a decision that we've never had to make. Yeah, some of us have made the decision to smoke weed. I'm not trying to sit up here holier than thou. I'm not talking about that. You can't lose sight of the why. Can't lose sight of the why. Her birth, natural, real mother died. And she heard about like, hey, how you doing? I'm fine. Hey, did you hear your mom died? Wait, what? Yeah, your mother died. Like, who even are you? I'm with NBC. Your mom died. How's that going to affect you running? And this young lady, unfortunately, made a bad decision as a result of that news. Did she break a rule? Yep. Is she suffering the consequences of it? Yep. Are they huge consequences? Absolutely. But can we accept that as well as be compassionate? Can we accept that as well as be empathetic? I mean, the whole, yeah, that's ridiculous. You broke the rules. Did you forget her mom died? Her real, for real mother. Not play mother, not godmother, not work mother. No, mama. Keith, no, marijuana is not a PED. The U.S. Track and Field Association basically feels like if it's illegal, if it's an illegal substance, it's illegal to be taken. And while it's legal in many states, it's still not legal nationally. So there we are. All right, I got Keisha Kelley coming on now. I want to bring her in to this discussion as well as everything else that we've got coming up. Keisha Kelley, first of all, thank you for making time for us here on the lunch break. She is what I call and dub the queen of Black college experience. So, Keisha, how you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm tired, but I'm good. It's been a whirlwind of 24 plus hours, but it's been good. It's been good.
Yeah, you haven't been sleeping at all, keeping up with everything going on with the additions to WAC, additions to the Big South, and name, image, and likeness.
It's been a whirlwind. Oh God, it's just been a whirlwind. And we were prepared. I was prepared for the name, image, and likeness, as well as the information with the SWAC. But the Big South, I was like, oh goodness, I completely forgot about that one. So then you have to go back in and dig into that. It's been a whirlwind of stuff over 24 hours.
Well, I appreciate you making the time for us. Hey, listen, before we get into the HBCU stuff and name, image, and likeness, can you give me your thoughts on Sha'Carri Richardson? And, of course, the unfortunate situation is she's not going to the Olympics. But the reality is this young woman is dealing with grief and bereavement and tragedy. And, there's some people that are coming at her real hard.
Okay, so honestly, and I hadn't spoke on it, and they were like, "Oh, Keisha, what's your opinion?" I really hadn't spoke on it. So honestly, and this is coming from this place. It's really easy for a lot of us to sit from our place of privilege and our opinion and to sit in a place that is not her. And so we're so quick to judge other people, and we forget that it's God's grace and mercy that sustains us every single day. So I told somebody earlier, I said, I'm 40, almost 41, and I still make stupid mistakes. At 21, I know I was making dumb mistakes when I was in college. So, it was a mistake. It was something she did. And, people say, well, she did this and she messed up her chances. I say the other side is that we can love someone and we can also hold them accountable. And so Absolutely. This is it's a hard lesson to be learned. It's other stipulations behind it, but we know how it is and we know what you can't do. And even though we think, okay, well, it's legal some places and it shouldn't happen like this, it's a hard lesson for her to learn. And I absolutely positively hate it. But we understand. And as a Black woman, we are the most unappreciated, the least protected. I mean, we see with so many things that have happened here in the news lately, we will drag women We will drag women with no hesitation, no reservation, and keep it moving. We don't care. But in the end, it's the woman that has to adjust the crown, put the world on her shoulders, had to carry the weight, and we had to bear the burden of everybody that's neglected us, that has not respected us, and has not protected us. So even if she did admit to it, and we know she admit to doing it, we know what she did was wrong. To talk about her ruining, it's a lot of people, and I don't know for everybody. I've lost a parent, so I understand what it's like to grieve.
Yeah,
I've been in that situation of losing a parent. And if you lost someone close to you, then you understand sometimes you do things, sometimes you're not in your right mind. I'm not excusing what she did, but I'm saying none of us are far removed from situations where we're sitting in a seat where we can judge anybody else.
Yeah. Keisha, well said. And I appreciate you sharing your personal transparency as well. Something about losing a mama, something about losing a daddy. And I have experienced both. I also counsel folks, with grief counseling. And you can have two people in the exact same family that grieve a person differently.
Correct. Absolutely.
You don't always lose that same person the same way. So
Exactly.
it's real hard, man, to be the judge of somebody's grief or the jury on somebody else's consequences, especially if you've never experienced it yourself.
Right.
Our sincere thoughts and prayers are with Keisha Kelley for her mental health. And I kind of appreciate that on the Today Show, the first question was, how you doing?
Yep.
What about the issue? It was, how are you doing? And those are the questions we should be asking.
AJ, a lot of times, and again, because we sit in this space, I sit in this space with young athletes all the time. I look at people and they make the comments and they make the statements about these athletes as if they're not human. That's what I don't do. And I said, these are humans. These are people that you chose to hold at this higher standard. You chose to put them up on a pedestal like they were God. And so when they don't meet your expectancies, now you want to vilify them. But they're human beings. And you have these 18, 19, 20, 21-year-old kids, because they're still kids, that we will literally hang out to dry if they lose a game, if they do something that we don't agree with. Right. They're still kids. We made dumb mistakes. And truth be told, somebody told me this years ago. We all got a closet that we don't want revealed. We all got a closet. We don't want those doors.
Uh-oh, Keisha, can you hear me? Keisha Kelley. She froze up on me, but doggone, she just said something. Keisha, if you can hear me, do me a favor and try and come back in. Do me a favor and try to come back in. She froze up. But boy, she said something. That thing made me shake. We all have closets that we don't want nobody to see. Good gosh. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm taking a break. I'm gonna take a break because that thing went down my spine and up my soul. Wow. It's the lunch break. I told you, Freestyle Friday wasn't gonna be no play. We'll get Keisha Kelley back right after this on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. If you want in on the discussion, 281-453-1000, 281-453-1000. It's the lunch break.
If Ernest Hemingway was alive today, would he say this to you? Shakespeare, Mark Twain?
This is where I am in my house. I don't know why I do it.
It's okay.
Here I am in my house.
Girl, when we come back, we got to go back to that statement. You said
Okay. Okay.
I felt that in my spirit.
Somebody told me that years ago, and it is so true.
Look, CJ said, bring her back with that statement.
It's the truth. It's the truth.
Famous authors in the world, call now for a free information kit.
Keisha Kelley in here done took us to church. Preach, Reverend.
Listen, somebody told me that.
219-8332. 800-219-8332. That's 800.
Remember in the beginning, when you first started to build a life for you and your family, you never imagined it would come to this. Instead of living your dreams, you're living with debt. In fact, it's smothering you. Now there's a way you can take back control with one simple call. If you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt, You qualify to
I just got a
receive
comment I
free,
want to read.
no obligation consultation. How to get rid of that debt for good. Call the debt helpline now. We work on your behalf to reduce your debt. We specialize in credit cards, retail store cards, and medical bills. One simple call is all it takes to get the ball rolling to a debt-free life. Stop living with debt and start living your dreams. Call the debt helpline now.
800-958-2156. 800-958-2156. 800-958-2156. That's 800-958-2156.
Tune in to Table Talk with your boy, TD Blackshear, every Tuesday from 10 to 11 a.m. on the legendary KYOK 1140 a.m. and 92.3 FM. See you there.
In need of tires? Check out OMG
All right,
Tire
last one,
Services
Chief.
and more. New and used tires, all the name brands you desire. Located at 3126 Tidwell between 59 North and Jensen. Give them a call at 832-767-3211. Top-notch service from beginning to end. When you're done, get your car hand washed inside and out at OMG Tire Services and more. Located at 3126 Tidwell between 59 North and Jensen. Call 832-767-3211. That's 832-767-3211, conveniently located on the north side.
The legendary KYOK 1140 AM. The legendary KYOK 92.3 FM. Two radio stations in one.
This is Brian Courtney Wilson, and you're listening to The Lunch Break.
All right, the lunch break making you jump on this Freestyle Friday. Keisha Kelley done took us to church. She dropped that nugget and then dropped off. Had to bring her back, man. Keisha said, every one of us has a closet that we what?
That we don't want to open. And if that closet opens, it's going to be some skeletons falling out. Everybody has something that they don't want the world to see. Everybody has something that, because if the world finds out about it, you're going to be embarrassed. You're going to be hurt. And so I don't. And that's why I tell people, I just mind my business. People feel like they got to speak on every single thing that happens in the world. You don't have to speak on everything. I don't speak on everything that happens. I didn't speak on the Bill Cosby issue. I haven't spoken on the Felicia Rashad issue. Everything that happens does not necessarily mean you have to make a statement. We're not celebrities. Why are we speaking on other people's lives, man? You don't have to.
Keisha Kelley, Black College Experience, joined us on Freestyle Friday. I read the breaking news because it came while I was on my show about Bill Cosby. I just read it verbatim. Mm-hmm. And man, I got attacked like I released him from prison. I got attacked like I said, hallelujah, thank you, G. I got called uppity. I ain't been called uppity since, I don't know, the 70s. I mean, I was just like.
Must be the capital part.
You know how we do, you know. But anyway, Keisha Kelley, I'm so glad to have you on the show. Let me read this comment real quick. This young lady who's listening said, I lost both my brother and my daughter at the beginning of the year. I will say trauma is the real gateway drug. I'm praying for her. Weed is not an enhancement drug, I believe. It should be taken off the list as an illegal substance. I'm rooting for her. And, I hear what she's saying, but the fact remains it is on the list. And I can't get mad at the USATF for following their rules. Again, at the end of the day, I want to make sure that baby girl's all right, that she gets the she needs, that they got those resources, make sure she has them. And y'all make sure these athletes have them before they, run into decisions like this.
Right.
That should be part of some type of orientation or, you name it, they need to know what's available. My first day on campus at Tulane, they ran us through some real orientation on what we had available, what we should do, if this happens, if that happens. Some of these organizations need to make that happen as well.
We do. And we do. Like I said, we have to stand by our student athletes. And again, it's so much stuff going on. And I tell people, this ain't my generation. This ain't the same people. I was in school 99, 2003. This is 2021. So now you got athletes that got, I told people, I said, I'm going out as a grown person. We're making a living. These are kids that are literally sitting in college. They got millions of followers. And you can actually get paid off just of who you are. This generation. And they're so exposed to so much, and we see so much with social media and so many things. And so, it is. And the thing that I can say that I honestly respect is that she said, I know what I did, I know it was wrong, and I know what I should have done. So it's called accountability. And so her admitting to what she did was wrong is a major step. And so it's like, okay, now you move on. Like, I'm not one of those people, I'm not going to harp on it. I'm not going to just keep talking about it. It's like, okay, we see it. And when it came out last night, it was just like, some people immediately just went to the dragon. It was it's this and it's a disappointment and I can't believe. And I'm like, well, you have all the logistics yet? Like, literally, you have all the logistics yet. But it's a hard pill to swallow. But hopefully, like you said, that's one of the things that people, they don't take into consideration your mental health and depression and things that people are dealing with. And people just assume that because they see you one way, that's how you are. And people don't understand how serious, mental health issues are. And they don't understand that depression is real. And that's another thing. I sit in a place where I went through depression. I suffer from depression. I had to, I've been in that place. So a lot of people don't understand it and people speak on it. And I had a woman tell me, she said, Keisha, I never would have known. Well, you're not supposed to know. Right. Because it's my job to mask it and hide it. So you're not supposed to know what I'm going through. I'm supposed to hide it. So, her mental health is most important, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I agree. Keisha Kelley really breaking it down for us. People see a world-class athlete or, a superstar NBA player or superstar NFL player and don't realize, like you said, they're human and they can be dealing with mental health issues. They can be dealing with anxiety or even anger issues and things like that. It doesn't make them a less of a person. It really just makes them human. So, man, this whole entertain me at all costs and don't disappoint me, man. That's a real drug right there. Yep. That being said, though, you touched on it. Name, image, and likeness. These kids can make some money off their own name. This is the part that blows me away. Off their own name, off their own image, and off their own likeness. How in the world are we still fighting over that and debating over that in 2021?
We've been waiting for 50 years for this to actually happen. And so when it actually happened, you hit the 1159 point and it happens. It's like, okay, you have so many gray areas. It's like, okay, well, how much can this kid make? And what does it do? And what are the stipulations? And of course, it's by state. And of course, it's going to be the rules and regulations of the colleges and it's different policies. So it's a lot of gray area. And so I was telling someone, I said, if you think about, let's just use the Zion Williamson for instance, or let's say, somebody like that, or like LeBron. If we think about if they were paid when they were in college, the kind of money they would have received, because I think even looking on the uptick, looking at, I think, a Trevor Lawrence, they were saying Trevor would have made somewhere around close to $400,000. So think about that for college. And then you think about what, rookies are like the lowest paid in the NFL, it's like maybe around like $350 or so. That's more than somebody that's playing professional football.
Right.
And so when you get the opportunity, as the kids say, to secure the bag, you secure the bag. I don't care what it is. And it's not really just the money aspect. It's so many things that you're learning, the branding, the marketing, the management. It's so many things that's under the umbrella of name, image, and likeness. And so you get endorsements that you can do. You can do camps. It's so many things under there that, again, you see why it's been over 24 hours of whirlwind, because people are still signing deals, deals.
I tell you, Keisha, you brought it home, because when I think of Tim Tebow, like him or not, Tim would have made a grip if he could have had name, image, and likeness. Reggie Bush would not have been in the trouble that he was in. I still don't think he should be in trouble if he could have made money off of name, image. Vince Young, come on now. I mean, name, image, and likeness. Okay, I digress.
I played basketball in 8th grade. I'm gonna see if I can bring out an old jersey or something and see if I can get Nike on there. See what Nike can do. I can't play, but I'm gonna see if I can get my name, the image, and likeness out there. That was years ago, but still.
You still got that college look, though. You still got that look. Let's talk about some of the deals. Of course, the young man and his several of the young men from Jackson State signed what we believe was the very first name, image, and likeness deal right at 12 o'clock. Tell us about that and the big deal that Master P has in place for his son heading to Tennessee State.
So as you said, that was it's like literally. I'm like, okay, Dion must have them sitting like there, like, okay, this is what time it's popping off. You're gonna be the very first person. And so what happened was, it's a defensive end from Jackson State. So Antoine, correct, which is a transfer from Georgia Tech, and so he was the first one. So what it is it's like a black hair care product. And it's like he used to just regular hair, so it's like an afro. So it's a product, and so it was him and 4 of his teammates. They all signed that deal. Well, in addition to that deal, you had Deion Sanders and Michael Strahan partner up. So Michael Strahan has a clothing line, and so they have some things that they're working on. So it's like a whole, and it's a whole long component of things that they're working on. FAMU has their own thing that they're working on. So that's why I say it's not just the whole money thing. It's like they're doing like the branding, the marketing, the internships, the sponsorships. They have built that in. And that's where you want to call Prime Time or Dion, I don't know what I want to call them. That's where Prime and Strahan mix theirs together to actually go under that actual thing and say, okay, this is another component outside of per se a deal to actually help these kids get in.
Yeah. What I love, Keisha Kelley joining us here, Black College Experience on Freestyle Friday on the lunch break. What I love, let me brag a little bit, that 3 Kings hair care that out of Cincinnati, Ohio. I ain't saying nothing. I'm just saying, I got to shout out to my Buckeye State. And then what I love, this is an HBCU, but I love these players and their mindset. So De'Aaron King, who's from Houston, along with the quarterback, I believe, from Florida State, got together and made a business that's going to help these student athletes find opportunities for name, image, and likeness, similar to what Dion and Strahan are doing. These young people get it. Like, we got a great opportunity. We don't need to be fighting over it and cutting each other off for it. We need to collaborate and make sure that we maximize that opportunity. And I love that kind of thinking.
And so what people don't understand, and this is why it's important to have somebody at the table, people, then they got into who signed first? Listen, on my side, I don't care who signed first. I don't care. What I care about is that you came from an HBCU and you signed first. That's all I'm content with. I don't care which one you signed with. All I care about is that you came from one of our schools. Right. And at midnight, you were inking that deal. And so to say that they were able to do stuff in that nature, it's like, okay, it starts small, but see, now we had to remove from our mental, we're not going to be able to compete with the PWIs. We're not trying to compete with them. We got to stop saying we can't. We got to remove can't from the vocabulary, because when you keep telling people you can't, you won't. We got to keep saying we can. And I said, we get the deals. Now we mad when the kids get the deals because it ain't what we think they should have. So it's like a lose-lose. Yeah.
What I love is the diversity of some of these name, image, and likeness deals. Because if I look at this $2 million deal that Master P has in place for his son as he gets ready to attend Tennessee State, it's with a technology company. So it's not just like he's and again, I'm not going to stereotype none of it, but it shows the diversity in our young people at HBCUs that, listen, they trying to do it all, and they can do it all.
So I'm gonna drop this on you because I've been reeling since I found this out. So we're trying to figure it out, and people are like, somebody else could have got that. But see, I'm just gonna brag real quick. That deal, once I put it out there, I didn't know where it came from. A Southern University Jaguar secured that deal. A Jaguar secured that deal. A Southern University Jaguar secured the deal. I am not mad at my Jaguar on a Friday for securing the deal. And he said, we're keeping it in the family. I ain't mad at you. I am not mad at you. Because other people do it. We're going to do exactly what other people do.
Let me just say something real quick. There's a couple of schools that just stand out. I ain't knocking none of the other HBCUs. There's a couple of schools that just stand out. I'm going to get to you for a second. Xavier University, you're going to have a doctor, you're going to have a lawyer, you're going to have somebody from that school nearby, just the way it is. Morehouse men, them brothers are for real. Do you hear me?
Yep.
But baby, them Southern Jags, I'm trying
Jaguars.
Look, when you think of a Jaguar, look up, don't look down, because I'm telling you, there's somebody up top that came through Southern University. It's just a fact. It's just a fact. I'm telling you the fact.
Yep. It is. And it was so crazy because when I put it out there, he sends me a message, he says, check out my company. I said, all right, cool. And so when I check it out, I said, wait, don't tell me you're behind the deal. He said, yeah. I said, you know what? It's a good day to be a Jaguar. I said, listen, these are the connections and the networks we have to have. These are the things we have to secure, because we know that tech is a major part. Tech is so big right now. Of course, especially with STEM, tech is major. And so the thing is that, people get into, oh, well, it's his dad and, it doesn't matter. But honestly, I can tell you it's another guy that's heavy in marketing and branding and everything from Southern. His name is Jabari. He's done some stuff with Master P. So they understand, and of course he's a Southern Jaguar. So, he's done all this stuff with the band. I mean, he was in the band. Like, it's like, okay, these are where the relationships are. These people are setting it up. And so people are like, oh, well, they use Master P because it's Master P. And that's why, listen, if LeBron, my daddy, I'm riding the wave. I don't care. If my folks are in that space, I'm riding the wave. You take it as it comes, because
Oh, the internet got her again. Keisha, can you hear me? Keisha, can you hear me? All right. Are you there? All right, we got to do it again. Got some technical difficulties. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to get Keisha Kelley back on there, because I agree with her wholeheartedly. I'm not turning it down because my daddy is LeBron. I'm not turning it down because my daddy is Tom Brady. It ain't my fault. It ain't my fault. And it's certainly not going to be something I'm going to do. You don't turn it down because of your connection or your relationship with someone who can open doors for you that might not normally open. Everybody else does it. Don't blame these kids for doing it. We'll be right back right after this on the lunch break. Freestyle Friday on the legendary KYOK.
Do you have high blood pressure or diabetes? Are you over the age of 65 and covered by Medicare? Then pay close attention to this message. Medicare has introduced some new benefits to help consumers during these cautious COVID-19 times. They realize many of you don't want to leave your home to visit a doctor. So now you can get a remote patient.
It's too good. It's just too good. The enemy don't want this out here. It's too good.
The enemy is trying to come in here and just destroy it all. But like I tell people, I say, y'all only see one side of it. And I was like, if you follow these athletes, like we follow these athletes, then you would know that they already started branding. It's kind of like Daddy Ball, was it LeVar Ball? It's kind of like when Ball was doing this stuff for his kids. It's the same exact way. He's setting him up with the branding and things that he's already going to be doing before he even stepped foot into Tennessee State.
Right.
And we know the marketing dollars, the money it's going to bring for them.
Hold on, let me finish this commercial. After this one, we going back live, okay?
Okay.
Only home size or condition. For over 20 years, we've been buying homes for cash and helping homeowners sell their homes.
Man, these text messages are coming in like crazy about you, bro.
Are you moving? Did you lose your job? Going through a divorce? Whatever the reason, if you're in a bind and you know that you need to sell your house fast, call the expert team at I Need to Sell My House Fast. We'll make you a serious cash offer to buy your home in 24 hours and let you walk away from it. No listing, no waiting. Sell any home, any size, any condition now. Call the expert team at I Need to Sell My House Fast. Make this free call now.
800-306-1760. 800-306-1760. 800-306-1760. That's 800-306-1760.
1140 AM and 92.3 FM. The legendary KYOK.
Beautiful people, this is Major. This is why I love you on the lunch break.
Man, that's why we love Keisha Kelley, because boy, I'm telling, she is dropping it today. on Freestyle Friday on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK, all new 92.3 FM and streaming live on KYOKradio.org. Double B says, man, Keisha Kelley is telling the whole truth. I work for a company that's a major corporation, and you got family members of the CEO all through it. Not one of them turned down their jobs because of who they were connected to. I don't expect our kids to do it either. I wouldn't.
And I wouldn't. That's why I tell people, why would you? Why should you? They've been doing this for decades. And you have people that's grandfathered in. You can go into companies and you can have 3-4 degrees. They have no type of degree, no type of formal education, but it's because of who their mom, dad, or whomever is, and they're grandfathered in. And so now all of a sudden, we're supposed to deny. No, we don't deny our kids either. Because once again, we all know what Master P is worth. We already know what his background is. We know his logistics. So he's setting his family up for generational wealth, the same way he did with Romeo. So why are you mad because of what he's trying to do? And listen, I might go over to Tennessee State. I might go over there and see a basketball game or something. I might want to go watch basketball. I might want to go see what they're doing down there.
But you bring up a point. When these young people start seeing what's happening on these campuses, they might not be so fast to run down the University of Georgia where they're talking splitting all the revenues with everybody on campus. That's a student athlete. They might decide to go to an HBCU, Tennessee State, Southern. They might decide to go to A&T when coach said, tell them, bring me my money. I'm just saying.
Speaking of, Duncan Powell was a 4-star recruit basketball player that's going to A&T. He actually signed a clothing deal as well. So it's a lot of stuff. And it's like you said, bring me my money. And I'm not mad at the kids. I'm not. They secure the bag, get the coins, or whatever you want to call it, by any means necessary, because they're doing it in some way, shape, form, or fashion.
Yeah, let me just say this real fast, Keisha. Sports Illustrated put out a cover yesterday that had the backs of Miami Hurricane players. And on the back of every jersey, it said mine. And the number on the back of every jersey was $2 signs. That's weak. It's weak. It's wrong. Why can everybody make money off of these student athletes except for the student athletes themselves?
What I don't like is when people get into, they say, oh, well, they're paying your tuition and they're paying for college. Listen, I'm not going to use no bad words, but we know that's BS. Paying my tuition and paying for scholarships. Let me give you I'm Alabama. Say I'm in Alabama. We know what Coach Saban makes. We know every year Coach Saban is probably going to go to a championship.
Right.
I'm going to give you him going to a champ. What we get for a celebration bowl payout is $1 million per team. Whoever wins, $1 million. 500,000 goes to the school. 500,000 goes to the conference. So that means that $1 million ain't even a drop in the bucket to what that man makes a year. So that means every year that you go, and I'm sure it's some perks in there when you get there, other stuff, you get some bonuses. Right. You're telling me that a person that's guaranteed to go to the championship basically every single year, and every year your contract is going up every single year. You think that it's okay for a team that's repeatedly going back, winning over and over again. You think it's okay to continue to pay the coach, but not the people that's winning the game? That makes no sense. You sleeping comfortably, but my mama back at home trying to figure out how she gonna pay a light bill, how she gonna pay a gas bill, how she gonna pay a mortgage. That's not how that works. That's not how that works.
Oh yeah, and by the way, if somebody like me whose son was at Arizona State finds out that one of the young people there doesn't have a way home or food during the holiday, heaven forbid me to try and use my own resources to help that child get back to Mississippi, Alabama, so they can see their mama. That's an unfair benefit, and now I've jeopardized that kid's, eligibility. But Saban ain't worried about that. Dabo Swinney ain't worrying about that. Scott Frost ain't worrying about that. Those coaches ain't worrying about that. But yet still, they want to make it sound like they are the best thing to ever happen to these kids who had plenty of people in their lives long before they ever heard of a Dabo Swinney or a Nick Saban or anybody like that.
And like I tell people, when people say, "Oh yeah, you went to these schools," listen, Zion Williamson was going to be drafted no matter where he went. Right. That boy could have went to wherever he was going to go because he had a following before he came. He was going to be drafted. Some of these Trevor Lawrence, these kids were going to be drafted anyway because people saw what they done. They started following them. They were going to be drafted. So people make it like these people are just like, oh my goodness, they're so untouchable. And I have nothing but respect for these coaches, but we just have to call it how we see it. We know that we're not on the same playing field when it comes to them, but don't come telling me about a $30,000, $40,000, $50,000, oh, they're paying your tuition or something. That's not even the taxes on some of these coaches payday. That ain't even their taxes.
Speaking of coaches, Dabo Swinney made the statement. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Gotta find it.
I saw it, and I hope he get the moving on. Let's see how that's gonna make out now.
I'm looking for the press conference. I need to find the press conference where Dabo Swinney honors his words when he said, as far as players getting paid, professionalizing college athletics, that's where you lose me. I'll go do something else because there's enough entitlement in this world as there is, end quote. Bruh, when you going? We don't even need to know where you going. We just need to know when you stepping down according to your word.
That's it. You and you talk about entitlement. So what you think you have? See, I tell for people that never been through anything, you never been through adversity, you're not used to struggling, you're not used to going through anything, you don't understand. Some of us are used to adversity. We go through it, we get over it, and we move on. Yeah. And so you're talking about entitlement. You're sitting from a place of privilege. You're not sitting from a place of struggle. So you don't get it. You don't understand it. But if you're going to go ahead and go. Because see, now when they start making these statements and it comes to fruition, now it's like you got to retract what you said. Yep. But no, you didn't say it now. So, when should we expect your letter of resignation? Because you said it.
Ain't nobody make you say it. Nobody said you had to say it. That's that old school. That mouth wrote that check, and that behind don't want to cash it. So I'm just going to leave it alone. Keisha, let's real quick get to the Big South. North Carolina A&T leaving the MEAC, going over to the Big South. I had to look up the member schools in the Big South. They're a pretty nice conference.
We hate to leave. We hate to absolutely lose North Carolina A&T. The MEAC it's still, to me, it's like a transition. You still have schools in the MEAC, but I absolutely positively hate to, lose North Carolina A&T. But if you look at like the travel wise and budget wise, it was just a better thing for them. I mean, they will have Hampton over there with them. They still will have an HBCU homecoming. So they do play another HBCU for homecoming, but much like you, I think a lot of people had to look up the other members that's in the conference. Even people from A&T had to look up. So, I'm excited. The one thing about A&T, the only sport that will remain in the MEAC is bowling, which was so weird to me. I was like, y'all can take bowling and let's keep football. We'll keep football.
I used to be a bowler. I was in a bowling league growing up. So you leave them bowlers alone, let them rock the MEAC.
but the bowling team gets to remain in the conference, and the rest of the sports are over there. Which, listen, I tell y'all, if y'all don't know, you better find out about that track and field. That cross country, y'all better find out about them. I said, because those girls are blowing smoke and they are leaving girls in the dust. The guys are blowing smoke. They are leaving guys in the dust, and they have people looking like, where did these kids come from? And they can compete. And we see that they have just blown people out the water when they were in Oregon. So, it's a great time for them. But again, we really hate to lose them to the Big South. But again, what it was, they're getting for it, like I said, travel wise, distance wise, and saving on certain things. It was just a better fit for them.
Absolutely. And again, we do wish them well. No hate over there at all. Howard, is it Howard or Hampton that's over there with them in the Big South? Hampton. Okay. So they'll have some of that HBCU flavor. And then, of course, there are new additions to the SWAC. Talk about that.
So in the SWAC, yesterday we officially, and this is the first time since 99. So what you're looking at, like 20 something years since we've had an expansion. We were a 10 member institution for that long, and now we're up to 12. So we are now officially the HBCU mega conference. We have the mega conference with
Oh man,
Listen,
there it is.
okay,
Okay, go ahead. Say it again.
FAMU has not shut up. FAMU has not shut up. They have not shut up. Bethune-Cookman, they have been really chill, but FAMU, they have not been quiet yet. And so I have to, my hats and my props are off to, honestly, to our commissioner, Dr. McClellan. But when I tell y'all, seriously, Courtney Gaucher, that he's the youngest athletic director now in the conference, and that's FAMU. That's a mover and a shaker. That's a person that you want in your circle. He's that guy can make some moves. He can move some mountains and make some money and raise some money. He is a person that you definitely would, if you say I want a blueprint, that's the person to go to. I think they're very, very excited. I don't know about Bethune. I don't know what they think about, but FAMU has done enough talking for both of them. You have talked with both of them, and it's the trash talking. They're so excited, and again, they're fundraisers. So I love to see that funding part. They bring that funding part, but FAMU has not been quiet. It was like, oh, it's official, and they're like getting calls and texts. It was like, yeah, we know, we get it, we know, we understand.
I can't wait for it to get started. Of course, we got football coming up. We got a whole bunch.
They start off with Jackson State. They start with Jackson State, and it's going to be televised. So it's going to be on ESPN. They play Jackson State in Miami, the first game of the season. FAMU and Jackson State, which also is the same day as the Black College Football Hall of Fame Classic with Tennessee State and Grambling, which will be on the NFL Network. So I'll be at Canton. And
come on, HBCUs, come on through.
We was like, could y'all not have put that on like another day or like 4 hours ahead of time? But it's going to be one of those, I'm in the booth looking at Canton or looking at Grambling and Tennessee State, but definitely trying to keep up with Jackson State and FAMU. It's just a good, because I think Willie Simmons bring the trash talk too now. Willie Simmons bring that trash talk too. He bringing that trash talk, and I'm ready for it.
Don't let me try to find my way down to Miami since you're going to be up in Canton.
Listen, find your way down there. You might want to hurry up and get the book in it and getting everything together.
Right. Keisha, we got to get ready to go. Tell everybody where they can find you and follow you with all the great stuff you're doing.
So, of course, I am on Twitter. That's Black College EXP. On Instagram, that's Black College Experience. On Facebook, it's The Black College Experience. And then, of course, as you can see going across the bottom, that is the website, blackcollegeexperienceinc.com.
Keisha, love you, appreciate you. You took us to church today. Hey, have a blessed and safe weekend, all right?
You do the same.
All right, y'all. Keisha Kelley did it to us today, man. If y'all didn't check it out, go back and check out the playback. It's good stuff in there for everybody. Let me get Sybil Wilkes on here. We'll be right back right after this.
It's Sybil Wilkes with what you need to know. Many Americans need to be reminded there is still a pandemic in this country, and millions of Americans are still struggling to feed and clothe families, stay in their homes, and find jobs. Those ignoring the reality include Republican governors of at least 25 states who began ending at least one or all federal unemployment programs set up during the pandemic. As a result of the decisions to curtail the extra payments, citizens in the states of Indiana, Maryland, and Texas have filed lawsuits against their governors to continue the benefits. With new infections outpacing vaccinations, health officials are expressing concern that the more transmissible Delta variant of the coronavirus will soon become the dominant strain in the U.S. This is prompting some officials to issue a new mask guidance. World Health Organization officials are urging fully vaccinated.
The legendary 1140 AM KYOK Conroe and 92.3 FM K222CX Houston.
The views and opinions expressed on all radio shows broadcast on KYOK are entirely those of the hosts, guests, and callers, who are entirely responsible for all show content and do not in any way reflect the opinions of KYOK Radio, its sponsors, staff, or management.
When you walk out on that field today, ask yourself this question. What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Let's go! We made it! We made it! We made it! We made it! I'm going to the house! I'm going to the house! When I step on the field, I send one message. This is what it feels like. This is what it feels like. Football is getting hit. That's it. It's gonna be football now. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Let's hunt now. Let's hunt now. Let's go. Let's hunt. Weaver. I'm going to the house. I'm going to the house. We're talking about the Jets like we're talking about the Saints. You know, all this trying to be the Miami Heat of football. Yeah. The bottom line is you got to buckle up with chin straps. It's embarrassing. Yeah. Don't disrespect the game like that. There's so much crying from him. He's a man. He can be a kid just like us. He's a man. You already make the big money. He's a man. I'm glad when you step on the field, man. That's who I did. When I step on the field, I send them one message. And this is what it feels like. Oh, my bad. You had to work in my world. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Let's go. Let's go, guys. Let's go. Weaver. I'm going to the house. I'm going to the house. It's a wrap. Game over.
Now, that's just the first hour on the books, second hour underway here on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. It's our Freestyle Friday. And again, I want to thank Keisha Kelley for really just giving it to us, man. That is great. I am excited about what she just said, what she just did. Let me see. I'm trying to get another young lady to call in real quick. We've got Shirley Walker King coming up at 1:20. I'm looking forward to having her come on, and we're going to have some adult conversation. So if you are underage and you got to watch PG-13 movies and that, you might want to miss this because we're going to have some adult conversation. It's going to be real. And I love that we've got Shirley Walker King doing it. So please tune into that in just a little bit. I'm excited about that conversation. Real quick, waiting on this other young lady to call, talk a little bit about Sha'Carri Richardson. But last night, Milwaukee outsized and out-physical the Atlanta Hawks in their 123-112 win in Game 5 of the Eastern Conference Finals without Giannis. And let me tell you something. Brooks Lopez grew up last night. He grew up last night. 33 points, 7 rebounds. Bobby Portis off the bench got the starting nod and dropped 22 and 8. And Chris Middleton bounced back nicely from that Game 4 loss with 26 points, 13 rebounds in the win. That's a lot of points between those three. Oh, yeah, and then you add in Drew Holiday, ball game over. Game 6 is win or stay home for the Atlanta Hawks, who were without Trae Young in Game 5. They got to find a way. They got to find a way to win at home tomorrow night, 7:30 Central in Atlanta. Patrick Beverley finally sent out an apology to Chris Paul, saying that the emotions got the best of him, and he wished Chris Paul well. Again, just like I said about Sha'Carri, you just have moments like that. You have moments that are not your best, and I'm not going to vilify Pat Bev forever for those moments. So Astros finally ended their 4-game losing streak with a 7-2 win over Cleveland. Jose Altuve hit a grand slam home run in the win. Game 2 tonight at 7:10. Don't look now, the Rangers have won 5 in a row after beating Oakland 8-3. Oakland was chasing the Astros for the top spot in the AL West, but the Rangers are going to shoot for 6 in a row tonight in Seattle. That first pitch will be at 9:10. We've already talked about it. One of the fastest women in the world, Sha'Carri Richardson, will miss the Olympics after testing positive for marijuana. So that's your sports update. That is your sports update. All right, so y'all have given me tons of comments about Keisha Kelley and Black College Experience, her comments about name, image, and likeness, many of them positive, many of them, happy for the kids. Many of them feel like this was a long time coming. Some with reservations about, these kids signing contracts and hoping that they have good advisors I get what you're saying. I understand that, but let's not make more out of it because it's college than anything else. I mean, a kid, 18 years old, can go out and sign a contract right now for something that, they want or need or what have. We're talking about within the rules of the NCAA where they now can make money off of their own name. A.J. Jones can make money off of A.J. Jones. A.J. Jones can now make money while in college and being a student athlete off of my own pictures. And A.J. Jones can now make money while in college as a student athlete off of my own likeness. If somebody comes up with a video game and they want to use my likeness, then guess what? I can make money off of that. And again, I know EA Sports is out there trying to revive their college football game. They got to pay these players if they use their stuff. If not, I'm telling the players, sue them. This ain't the old days. And then the other issue is people are wondering, well, why are the players allowed to make money off of Alabama's jersey or off of Alabama's helmets or logos or what have you? Let me tell you something. People who follow the sports. They know if they get a certain player, they know where they're getting that player from. Those players are not only going to make money because they went to Alabama, and they don't have to have the Alabama jersey on or the Alabama helmet on. These players are making money off of themselves, their own marketability, their own efforts where they went out and found somebody who could find these deals for them. They don't have to reference those schools. And again, be very careful. Be very careful. Keisha Kelley said it best. Let Alabama not be competing for national titles year in and year out. Let Alabama not have the top recruiting classes year in and year out. Alabama would be just another team in the SEC. Let's not get it twisted. Alabama is a great program, but Alabama would not be a great program without getting those students, those student athletes, or as Chris Gardner, Houston Roundball Review says, student assets. I mean, really. Like Keisha said, Trevor Lawrence would have gotten drafted if he went to, Idaho State. He would have been drafted if he had went to Kalamazoo. He would have been drafted if he went to an HBCU, where many a non-African-American player has played. So let's not think that Clemson made Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence made Clemson as much as Clemson had a hand in who he is. Oh, AJ, these programs don't have the deals. Hello, you're live on the lunch break. Who's this?
Willie Gibson.
Hey, Willie, how are you?
I'm well, sir. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. TGIF, bro.
Indeed, absolutely.
Talk to me, man. I know you got something on your heart. I must have said something that Willie said, let me get in there on this.
No, I appreciate the convo, bro. I mean, I'm listening, had the opportunity to listen, and heard Miss Keisha Kelley. That was powerful, as you said. But just to listen to the name, image, and likeness conversation, and I don't know that every school is doing this. I just kind of give you the insight of Ohio State, who I'm closest to. Athletic Director Gene Smith met with the top 20 sponsors of the athletic program and said, let's come up with a development strategy that we can maximize the image and likeness for our student athletes. And so it's not a scenario where, at least here, where these kids have to go out and attempt to harvest and come up with endorsement deals on their own. The university is actually working with them and bringing these deals to them as well.
And I can respect that. Willie Gibson, broadcast journalist from Columbus, Ohio, joining us on the show. I can respect that because if I'm a coach and I'm that player coach, hey man, I'm doing the best I can to help these young people with this because it gives me twofold. It lets them know that I care, but number two, it makes sure it gets done right. And I got a lot of respect for The Ohio State University. I never went there, but that school has always been near and dear to my heart. And this further solidifies I like the way they handle their business.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Whereas conversely, there's another school north of Ohio State. I'll just leave that there. And they're having all kind of issues where, student athletes, that state, they have to wait 7 days and allow the school to vet the opportunity. And then there's an additional waiting period beyond that. Whereas, it's a gang of red tape.
Yeah. So in other words, don't go with me on this one. Let me burn this bridge myself. So in other words, it's easier to buy a gun and go do whatever with it than it is to make money off of your own name, your own image, and your own likeness in the state of Michigan. Go ahead. You were saying.
You said that. I didn't say that.
And that's why I said don't go with me. I'm blowing this bridge up myself. Go ahead.
Indeed. But no, so, and that's just it. Ms. Kelley said it earlier. Each state has its own set of criteria.
Right.
And so that's going to be the issue.
Yep.
The school all day long can have their parameters set.
Yep.
But if that state is going to say, no, we need X, Y, Z, A, B, C, it's going to be issues all over the table.
And I want it. Call me an anarchist. I want it. I want the state of Michigan to have to deal with that. I want the state of Georgia to have to deal with that. I want the state of Texas to have to deal with that. And if you don't do it right, then so be it. And if the school try to add something to the craziness of what the state has agreed to, so be it. Let these kids end up at North Carolina A&T. Let them end up at Grambling. Let them end up at Southern. The kids are going to be all right. It's the parents and the adults and the decision makers that don't seem to understand it could all be so simple, but you'd rather make it hard.
Wow. Well said. I can't say it better.
Yeah, man. Give me some on Shakari for me if you don't mind. Hold on. I think Willie, stay right there. This might be the young lady I'm trying to get to call. Don't go anywhere. Stay right there, Willie. Hello, you're live on the lunch break. Who's this?
Hi, this is Yumika Harmon.
Hey, Yumika, I am so glad you called. I've got Willie Gibson on with us. He's a broadcast journalist from Columbus, Ohio. And you had a very compelling post this morning on Facebook. Can you share your post with us and what made you share that particular post?
I shared that particular post is due to the fact that, first of all, no one can judge. And this young lady, I'm not making excuses, okay? She accepted what she did. She accepted that it was wrong, first of all. But no one can judge her because everybody has a different relationship with family members. In order for her to deal with her mother passing away, she smoked weed. We can't condemn her from that. We can't say she ruined her life. It's a different relationship. I'm 55 years old. When my father passed away 10 years ago, I didn't smoke weed, but I got drunk, very drunk. We all handle things totally different. And we need to lift this young girl up and support her and not tear her down.
Yeah. Let me read your amazing post. Everyone handles grief differently. We can't say that this young lady has ruined her life. Everyone's relationship with a parent or family member is different. Before we pass judgment on her, remember, no one is perfect. Okay, she smoked and admitted why she did it. She's not making excuses. Baby girl, you shall rise and prosper, just like the word says. Adversity is her opportunity. I was blown away by that.
Adversity is your opportunity. If you can handle adversity and pass that test of adversity, it's your opportunity that's going to come next. You overcame that. She's going to overcome this. The reason she's going to overcome it because so many people have so much negativity to say about it, this young lady shall rise to the top because she's standing on the promises that were made to her.
Yeah. Yumika, I appreciate you. I mean it. Yumika, I appreciate you. And I want you to have a blessed, safe weekend. Hey, do you have young people in your family?
Yes, sir, I do.
I got a family 4-pack for you to take them to the Children's Museum, Houston, and I'm going to throw in a free barbecue sandwich from Dickey's Barbecue. So I'll inbox you and get that information to you so that I can get those over to you. But you'll have a family 4-pack to go to the Children's Museum, Houston, and you'll get some Dickey's Barbecue as well, okay?
And one thing I must say, that's why we lose our children to so much negativity when we as adults indulge in that negativity.
Yeah.
Uplift your child and see what happens.
Wow. I so appreciate you. That's as we say in the church, the doors of the church are open. So thank you for calling in for me, okay?
Yes, sir. You have a wonderful day.
All right. Willie Gibson, man, she just dropped it off right there, brother. She just really she said something right there, Willie. That was good stuff.
Unfortunately, I couldn't hear everything that you said. I apologize.
Yeah, I'll read her post again. She says, everyone handles grief differently. We can't say that this young lady has ruined her life. Everyone's relationship with a parent or family member is different. Before we pass judgment on her, remember, no one is perfect. Okay, she smoked and admitted why she did it. And she's not making any excuses. Baby girl, you shall rise and prosper, just like the word says. Adversity is her opportunity.
Wow, that last part.
Yep.
Adversity is your opportunity.
Yep.
That's right. Granted, she made a mistake. She's 21 years old. She made a mistake. And people say, well, how could you make a mistake at this juncture of your life? Yeah, it happened.
Yeah.
How can you make a mistake at the juncture of your life when you're 57? I don't know. No mistake is greater. A mistake is a mistake is a mistake.
Right.
It happens. It's, what is it? Life is 10% what happens to you, 90% how you respond.
That's it.
So this happened. You know what I mean? It happened. So now how does she respond? And from all indications early on, from what I saw, I was able to watch the same interview, she's responding. Accountability. She took it. She shouldered it. You know what? I did it. I know what I'm supposed to do. I know what I'm not supposed to do. She's moving forward.
Yeah.
Why continue to belabor the point? Honestly, for whatever reason, AJ, I'm not convinced. Well, a couple of things. One, the 30 days, as it stands right now, she'll miss the individual 100, but the suspension ends in time for her to participate in the 4x1 relay. So she's still eligible for that as of now. But I'm not convinced that public pressure, USATF, doesn't allow her to run in the open. I'm not convinced that doesn't happen. And for that, United States track and field is about winning gold medals.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
They are not about taking the athlete that's going to bring USA track and field back on the women's side off of the track. They don't take that lightly.
Yeah.
So, but I say that to say this is not they're trying to get her out of there. They don't want her to run. They don't. No. Trust me. If there's a way that they can allow her to run, she'll run.
Yeah. Yeah, I like all those points that she could still be eligible for the 4x100, which is another one of those races that the USA prides itself on winning. And again, they can make a way. They can make a way. They can make a way. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that. Willie, tell everybody where they can find you and follow you, man.
Yes, sir. As always, appreciate the opportunity. Will Gibson 7 on Twitter as well as Instagram. Will Knows, the Will Knows podcast on Facebook, and tonight, 7 p.m. Central, three folks talking sports, myself, Chris Gardner, the Houston Round Ball Review, and the young fella, and Yanez. Please check us out.
I'm going to be checking y'all out tonight. I'm sending y'all Valencia King's phone number, Keisha Kelley's phone number, Kelsey Nicole Nelson's phone number. I'm sending y'all some numbers, man.
Say why. Wait a minute. That's a little suspect. You just name. Listen.
Yeah, man. I gotta go. I gotta get Shirley Walker King. I ain't got time to play with you, man. I'll talk to y'all later on tonight.
All right, my brother. Appreciate you.
I love you, Willie. All right, listen, we got to take a quick break. We're coming back with Shirley Walker King. We're about to have some adult conversation next on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. It's the lunch break, y'all.
If Ernest Hemingway was alive today, would he say this to you?
Shakespeare, Mark Twain, Edgar Allan Poe, all great writers. And after reading your book, I simply must add you to the list.
Wait, you don't have a book yet, so make a free call to Page Publishing. Their expert staff can help you turn your book idea into a real book, a masterpiece that could someday make the bestseller list in hard copy and digitally all across the world. Page Publishing can help you completely take your idea for a book, write it, and publish it. So if you want to join the ranks of some of the most famous authors in the world, call now for a free information kit. Turn your book idea into publishing gold. Make a free call right now to Page Publishing.
800-219-8332. 800-219-8332. 800-219-8332. That's 800-219-8332.
Remember in the beginning, when you first started to build a life for you and your family, you never imagined it would come to this. Instead of living your dreams, you're living with debt. In fact, it's smothering you. Now there's a way you can take back control with one simple call. If you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt, you qualify to receive a free, no-obligation consultation on how to get rid of that debt for good. Call the Debt Helpline now. We work on your behalf to reduce your debt. We specialize in credit cards, retail store cards, and medical bills. One simple call is all it takes to get the ball rolling to a debt-free life. Stop living with debt and start living your dreams. Call the Debt Helpline now.
800-958-2156. 800-958-2156. 800-958-2156. That's 800-958-2156.
Tune in to Table Talk with your boy, TD.
All right, one more after this and we're done.
Tuesday from 10 to 11 a.m. on the legendary KYOK 1140 a.m. and 92.3 FM. See you there.
Legendary KYOK 1140 AM. The legendary KYOK 92.3 FM. Radio stations in one.
Hey, what's going on? This is Lecrae, and right now you're listening to The Lunch Break.
All right, y'all. We back on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK, all new 92.3 FM, streaming live on KYOKradio.org, also broadcasting on Facebook Live, on YouTube, and on Twitter. I've got the mother of my niece, the one who comes in here and sets it on fire every single time she comes. I'm talking about none other than Shirley Walker King. And Shirley, hang on, I did a tag for you too. Let me find your tag, because we got there you are, bang. There we go. That's you. All right, Shirley Walker King, how you doing? Uh-oh, you are muted, Shirley. Why can't we hear you? Why can we not hear you? I can't. I see your lips moving. I can't hear you. I can't hear you. I want to hear you, because we got to have adult conversation. I got it all the way up on my side. Do me a favor. Go out and come back in. Go out and come back in if you can hear me. All right, she's going to go out. She's going to come back in, and we're going to get her back, and we should be able to hear her live. I want y'all to be able to hear this amazing woman. She's an award-winning businesswoman. She's an author, wife, mother. She's been in the front office and radio stations, and produces TV shows, and I mean, just well versed in all of that. And we want to make sure that we can hear her when she comes back in. Hey, Yvonne Love, how you doing? Valencia, help my sister out. Help my sister out. Make sure stuff is right. So anyway, I'm really looking forward to having this conversation with her. I know we got a lot of folks that feel a lot of ways about some of the stuff that's happened. Let me just first of all say, I'm not addressing the Bill Cosby situation today. I'm not addressing it. All I did the other day was read the breaking news and again, immediately began to be attacked because I read the breaking news. I mean, I guess I was supposed to read it and give my opinion about it, and I didn't do that. And I still refuse to do that. You know, I've said what I've said exclusively about sexual assault, about domestic violence. I've been very strong and clear on that. And if I hadn't been, let me say it again. I'm against all of that. Every chance, every circumstance, every time out, I'm against all of it. All right, I think we got her back. Let me give her a minute till I can see her. There she is. I can see her. All right, Valencia, Shirley Walker King, we can hear you now.
Mic check 1 2. Mic check 1 2. Hey.
That's my DJ. Go DJ. That's the oh, I'm sorry. Okay, Shirley Walker King, award-winning businesswoman, author, been in the front office and radio, television, all of that. Producer, talent, you name it, you got it all. And the perfect person for this adult discussion, grown-up discussion.
Yes, and let me start by saying let me get this correct. The words that come out of my mouth are not intended to be representative of KYOK.
Yeah, hold on. I'm gonna do it.
Go ahead and play that disclaimer.
I'm gonna do it for us officially.
The views and opinions expressed on all radio shows broadcast on KYOK are entirely those of the hosts, guests, and callers, who are entirely responsible for all show content and do not in any way reflect the opinions of KYOK Radio, its sponsors, staff, or management.
All right, y'all. That's the facts right there. I'm gonna leave that queued up.
Done.
I'm gonna leave that queued up. Yep. So, Shirley, obviously we've had a whole lot happen recently. I just said, well, while you're getting the sound together, I'm not addressing Bill Cosby today. I'm not addressing that in any way, shape, size, or form. I read the breaking news the other day and immediately got attacked as if I was glorifying Bill Cosby. And that wasn't the case at all. I just read the breaking news verbatim and got jacked up. And I've stated on multiple occasions, sexual assault, domestic violence, dead wrong, no matter what, every time out, dead wrong. And I stand by that.
Right.
That being said, we've got two coaches in particular that now have jobs in the NBA. Jason Kidd, who was accused of domestic violence against his ex-wife.
Correct.
And even accused her of domestic violence before the divorce was final. If we're going to tell the whole story. And folks are upset that he is now the head coach of the Dallas Mavericks, given his history, as well as the history of the organization.
Right.
The other case in question is Chauncey Billups, who had a sexual assault case that was filed civilly against him back in 1997. He settled it out of court, and many feel like he should in no way be the face of an NBA franchise. The question was asked of me, how do my colleagues and friends who are women feel about my position that these men deserve or should have another chance?
Mm-hmm.
And I invited you to come. So I'm going to turn it over to you. Your thoughts on what I said, how I feel, and those situations.
And just to give the people a little more of a background, I am a former professional basketball player. I have a certified and long history of human resource management. I am the child of domestic abuse. I lived in a household with domestic abuse from both seeing my mother and my father go through their struggles. And I am a woman of everything else. With that being said, I would first say earlier your guest, and I'm sorry, I cannot remember her name now. Keisha, I believe it was.
Yeah, Keisha Kelley.
When that sister said we all have closets that we don't want open. So all of these keyboard thugs that are behind this keyboard, throwing stones, pointing fingers. Think about what's in your closet that you don't want anybody to know about, that you are thankful for, that there's no social media back in the day when we were growing up. So I believe everybody deserves a second chance. I believe everyone should be held accountable for their actions. These two men have been held accountable for their actions of what they did, one in 1997 and the other in 2001. Jason Kidd's domestic violence situation was with his wife. They handled the situation to the best of their ability until they could no longer handle the situation and got a divorce in 2007, if my memory serves me correct.
All right.
They have both accused each other of some form of domestic violence. Again, being raised in the household, and my mother does not mind me talking about the situation because she wanted us to know what we did not have to tolerate and put up with. My mother, whose also name is Shirley, Shirley didn't play. So if you came at Shirley, you were going to get whatever Shirley had in her hand, in her closet, in her gun holster. So I have seen couples go through battles. That's for them to handle. In Jason Kidd's situation, he actually took anger management classes. Jason Kidd actually went through the process of trying to rectify and correct the situations that he felt he brought to the table. As far as the Mavericks bringing on Jason Kidd, if we try and say the Mavericks can't bring on anybody with a sketch past, we won't have a player, we won't have a back office, we won't have a front office. We all have a past, and your past does not determine your future and what you can do for this world and this community moving forward. If you are responsible and accept your part in the situation. And I say your part because none of it is one-sided. There's always 2-3 sides to every situation. We know of one because of what Mr. Kidd's wife put out. We also know that they tried to work it out. And eventually that did not last. We've seen nothing, and I can only say this part from what I've seen. Jason Kidd be a positive, productive citizen. Allow the man to do what God has placed in front of him to do.
Yeah. Shirley Walker King joining us here on the lunch break as we have adult conversation. Let me just say this. This isn't tokenism going on. I didn't just go out and find a woman who espouse my same views as if you speak for all of the women out there in history, and therefore this is no argument. This wasn't the case at all. This was the case, the open dialogue. All I said was we're going to have adult conversation. I told you what we were going to talk about. I told you how I felt about it. I said, now I want you to bring your opinion and don't feel like you have to agree with me. So this is not tokenism. This is discussion. This is open discussion. What you said about Jason Kidd is again the line of thinking that I have. I don't look at just that one moment or that period of time for Jason Kidd's life and think that defines who he is for the rest of his life.
Right.
Like Keisha Kelley said, I'm gonna be saying that. That's gonna be in almost every sermon for the next month. Is we all have closets that we don't want opened. We got to see a bad glimpse of a moment in Jason Kidd and his wife's closet. But we've also seen Jason Kidd since then. Mm-hmm. And if we're going to start finalizing people's maturation, development, restoration over a period in time, then to your point, we're not going to be able to have anybody do anything by those standards. Does that mean we allow things? No. That means when somebody has put in the work, whether we agree with the amount of it or the level of it or what have, when somebody has put in the work to restore, to redeem, to, repent, to be a better person, how do we then come back and say, oh, that's great, but they should never be this. They should never be the face of a franchise. They should never be a head coach. They should never be able to rise above a certain level, because now that's extremely conditional.
Oh, yeah. Let's just go with, the most prestigious position in the United States of America as far as being the president of the United States. We wouldn't have presidents if we were judging them on a time frame in their life, the same person who freed the slaves had slaves. Oop, did we get quiet?
I mean, if we just gonna tell the whole story, and he did not want to free the slaves. That wasn't his original mission. The original mission was to bring the country back together.
Right.
Not about free the slaves, but
default. Yeah. We got freed by default. And again, we cannot judge. We all have something in our past. It may not be to the level of domestic violence. It may not be to the level of, disrespecting women by grabbing them in their private places. It may not be to the level, of murder. But we all have something in our past that we are not proud of. But that's not put on Front Street because our positions are not in Front Street. So we sit back, those of them who want to pass judgment, and throw stones, but they don't want to talk about what's in their closet. Like my mother used to say, you don't want anybody doing your laundry because they're going to find out how dirty you really are.
Wow. Shirley Walker King joining us on the lunch break. So I said this is going to be adult conversation. I told people to put up their kids, PG-13, whatever. I'm not opposed to the Me Too movement. I'm for it. I was molested as a child. So it's not the same as a male or woman, but I felt shame. I felt blame. I felt condemnation. I wasn't believed. And what I've seen as I've grown up is that people don't always have the same energy about the same issue for everybody. Why is it that this movement didn't go after then President Trump when multiple women came forward and said he assaulted me? And in addition to that, he made statements like, that's not my type. I didn't realize that was a criteria for defending against sexual assault. So what are you telling me? If it had been your type, you would have been okay assaulting her? Why was that movement not more forceful? Why didn't we believe the women then? There were several different groups that could have heard these women out and chose not to, but yet some kind of way, I'm supposed to believe everything about the accusers of Jason Kidd or the accusers of Chauncey Billups and others. I'm just opening it up for discussion. That's all I'm trying to do.
Right. Certain organizations, groups, or individuals have a protective clause in their movement or their attack, if you will. I don't think Me Too was set out to protect. I think Me Too was supposed to give everybody an opportunity for change, not only for the individual perpetrators, but for also society as a whole. So everyone should be given that opportunity of fairness, if you will. Everyone should be given that opportunity of, if you're going to go after one, go after all. Don't be selective because a person has money, because a person is running for a position, because a person is putting throwbacks into your pocket. The bottom line, it is what it is. If the person has done wrong, hold them accountable once proven for their wrongdoing and see how that folds afterwards. See if they truly are genuinely apologetic for the accusation or the wrongdoing itself.
We got Shirley Walker King joining us here on the lunch break. We're having adult discussion about just the life issues concerning coaches that have been a part of domestic violence, sexual assault, and let's not just leave it at coaches.
Right.
You've got owners. When we look at Dan Snyder, when you look at Mark Cuban, and others. That have fostered an environment where people are sexually harassed on the job. The NFL just made a statement where they literally are not forcing Dan Snyder to sell his organization after finding that for multiple years he fostered an environment where women were bullied and sexually harassed and what have you. Allegedly he's agreeing to step down. Some say he's been forced to step down, but everything I'm reading, it was a decision he made to put his wife in place.
Right.
again, why is it okay to be an owner and still own, but you can't be a coach and still coach?
Owners have more money than coaches.
Okay.
Owners typically have more friends, more resources than coaches and players. So that's how certain things can be overlooked, adjusted for them to have their proper bowing out. So again, this is America. Money talks.
Okay.
Money talks.
Okay.
And so imagine being an owner with that kind of a position. How many people owe you?
Wow. And what people of influence can you call on and say,
sir.
hey, make this go away? Or how bad is it? Okay, give it to us as light as you possibly can. And it just shouldn't be that way. My level of defense or justice should not be based on my ability to pay for it. It just, maybe I'm pie in the sky.
Unfortunately, it's the American way.
Right.
That's just something that we will be dealing with for a long time to come. Now with social media, now with the news and everything being in your face and people stepping up and demanding action, we are putting a little dent in that.
Yeah.
So we are able to hold certain people accountable to a certain degree, if you will. It may not be to the full degree of the law, but they are being held accountable, if nothing else, in the front forth of the social justice, if you will.
Yeah. We got Shirley Walker King joining us on the lunch break. In fact, we got a post from Vincent King that just said, preach. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back with more. And Shirley, when we come back, you having worked in HR, you've dealt with the victims of some of these negative things. Let's talk about that when we come back on the lunch break. All right, Shirley Walker King, so glad to have her. We'll be right back with more right after this on the lunch break on the Legendary KYOK.
You're listening to 1140 AM and 92.3 FM, the Legendary KYOK.
Do you have high blood pressure or diabetes? Are you over the age of 65 and covered by Medicare? Then pay close attention to this message. Medicare has introduced some new benefits to help consumers during these cautious COVID-19 times. They realize many of you don't want to leave your home to visit a doctor. So now you can get a remote patient monitoring device shipped to your home at little or no cost to you. Now your doctor can identify your problems in real time, which could potentially save your life. Victory Medical can easily ship this monitoring device directly to your home at little or no cost to you. If you have high blood pressure or diabetes and you're covered by Medicare, make this free call right now to see if you qualify for a new remote patient monitoring device. Call now.
800-213-9527. 800-213-9527. 800-213-9527. That's 800-213-9527.
Do you have a home that you don't want anymore? We can buy it from you within 24 hours, any home, size, or condition. For over 20 years, we've been buying homes for cash and helping homeowners sell their homes immediately, with no listings or strangers walking through your home. Are you moving? Did you lose your job? Going through a divorce? Whatever the reason, if you're in a bind and you know that you need to sell your house fast, call the expert team at I Need to Sell My House Fast. We'll make you a serious cash offer to buy your home in 24 hours and let you walk away from it. No listing, no waiting. Sell any home, any size, any condition now. Call the expert team at I Need to Sell My House Fast. Make this free call now.
800-306-1760. 800-306-1760. 800-306-1760. That's 800-306-1760.
Beautiful people, this is Major. This is why I love you on the lunch break.
The views and opinions expressed on all radio shows broadcast on KYOK are entirely those of the hosts, guests, and callers, who are entirely responsible for all show content and do not in any way reflect the opinions of KYOK Radio, its sponsors, staff, or management.
All right, I meant it when I said I was going to keep that queued up because of the nature of the conversation that we got going on right here on the lunch break on the Legendary KYOK. I want to appreciate Shirley Walker King for joining us here. She's from the DFW area. And again, thank you for making time for us. We've been talking about the issue of sexual assault, domestic abuse. Head coaches Jason Kidd and Chauncey Billups have received a whole lot of discussion, if you will, about their past and their current positions. One 1997, the other one 2001. There are people who feel like, as victims of other cases of domestic violence or sexual assault, it's going to be difficult for them to constantly see the face of Jason Kidd or constantly see the face of Chauncey Billups. Is there a fine line for being sensitive to that? I don't want to call it triggering, because that seems, that seems kind of insensitive, but that being a recurring feeling as a result of knowing those men's past.
And every situation, every person has a different trigger. And if constantly seeing the face of someone is a trigger for you, then I would say that those individuals probably still need to be in some type of counseling or therapy. And with that said, I do want to make sure that we know that, there are confidential hotlines that people can call if they feel like they're in a domestic violence situation or aware of someone who is. You can call the National Domestic Violence Hotline at 1-800-799-7233. Again, that number is 1-800-799-7233. You can also text the number 88788. If you feel like you're in a situation and you need help. There are resources out there for everyone when we're talking about those triggers. So again, we have to figure out how to get past someone's scars. We all have scars. And if you continue to look at those scars, it's going to be a continual reminder of something. But beyond the scar, there has to have been a lesson. So these men are actually examples to someone else who may be in the early stages of domestic violence. Maybe they were abused and they're now acting out and don't even know why they're acting out. These are men who are an example that you can change your life and be a better person moving forward, man, woman, or child.
Yep.
I had anger management twice in high school. Hey. But we all have to figure out our path. And for those individuals who want to, and I'm going to say block someone else's blessing, they have to look at what's going on inside of them so that they can address their internal feelings and frustrations and triggers. It's a trigger for me when I see people hide behind the keyboard, and the computer and accuse people of something with no justification.
Right.
Stop throwing the stones and help lift somebody so that they can help someone else. If we don't watch what people do once they come past the situation, how can we see that growth for someone else? It takes someone going through something, saying I was wrong, getting counseling, getting therapy, being held accountable, whether that's serving time or whatever the situation was, for them to grow and prosper and now feed into someone else.
Yeah, Shirley Walker King, you bring up some very good points. And it's definitely not victim blaming or shaming or anything like that. And it seems like a lot of people now feel like as long as they can post their support for someone who's experienced domestic violence or sexual assault, and they can, tear down the accuser or the accused or the person that perpetrated the wrong, that's their sign of support. But the reality is trying to make sure that the person who has been abused or assaulted gets that extra step of help where they're not as easily affected by the sight of or what have you. And I know it's not an easy process. Believe me, I as a survivor of domestic assault, I got 2 stab wounds in my wrist right here, and they're defensive wounds where the person I was with decided that I wasn't fighting back with them. I wasn't arguing with them. I was sitting down eating dinner. They were trying to argue while I was trying to have dinner. I wouldn't respond back. They snatched my plate and grabbed a knife and said, "You're going to talk to me," and started stabbing me. I didn't fight them. I didn't argue with them. In fact, I was literally saved by their child who said, "Mommy, he's not even doing anything to you."
Mm-hmm.
And watch this. The double standard is when I tell people that story, they all ask this question. Well, what did you do to her? You must have done something to her for her to stab you. Were you cheating? Were you lying? And I'm not even going to get into the double standards of it. But the bottom line is I don't get affected when I see her doing well.
Right.
I had to get therapy. I had to get help. And if that affects me to see her, hear about her doing well, I got to go back into therapy. And I got to go back and get more help. And I'm not knocking. Not everybody responds the same. But I'm saying the result doesn't have to be tear the other person down and support a person on social media and that be my way of supporting you. Sometimes it's a phone call and say, "Hey, I see how upset you are. What can I do to help you? Can I go to therapy with you? Can we talk about it? Can I be a sounding board?" Sometimes it doesn't have to happen in 280 characters or less. Sometimes it's got to be personal. Sometimes it's got to be intimate. And I'm sorry to be long-winded, but Luke Walton. So are people not triggered when they go to cover Luke Walton and the Sacramento Kings? Are people not triggered when they go and cover Robert Kraft and the New England Patriots? I'm just asking because it just seems like it's not balanced, it's not fair, it's not across the board.
And again, some of that comes with the culture, some of that comes with their skin color, some of that comes with their acceptance level. When we as Black African American people do something, it is pushed to the highest of heights. But someone else of another race can do something and it's not as bad, if you will. So just to put that little bit in there, I do believe that because they are African American men, I do believe they are being held to a higher accountability and not wanting to see them in the forefront. But again, I go back to, if we looked at other people's issues and concerns of other nationalities, we wouldn't have as many presidents as we've had in the past. None of them were perfect, but yet their situations weren't drug out. They were overlooked. It's time to stop putting us as African American people on a pedestal higher than the next person when they've done just as wrong. I'm not saying that we forgive them because they're Black. I'm saying we actually work on forgiving them because they have worked on forgiving themselves.
And I'm glad you said that. And I want to highlight that for a second, because a lot of times people roll their eyes so hard when they hear us say something about Black or white that it literally makes them want to pull a groin muscle. But the reality is, it's not giving someone less justice because they're Black. It's equal treatment. Yes. That you would treat someone who's not Black. If you just treat everyone fairly and the same, well, AJ, not every situation is the same. That's fine. Just do it to the same letter of the law that you would do someone else who's not that color or that race in the exact same situation. Just do it like that, and then we won't be talking about this piece of it. But it just, did Luke Walton get convicted? No. Did Chauncey Billups? No.
No.
He settled out of court.
Right.
Did Ben Roethlisberger get convicted? No. Did Brett Favre get convicted? No. But other people, they should never be in a place where they can be seen or heard from again. But yet we still talking about Brett Favre and listening to what he has to say on everything under the sun. We're still, supporting Ben Roethlisberger and these other people. And I'm just trying to figure out, how do we be able to level this playing field so that a person who really wants redemption can get it?
And I will say this, I'm not an attorney. I work with the public defenders at an early age and work with the California Department of Corrections. So I will say this, a conviction does not always mean guilty.
That's so true too. That's so true too.
But we have more convictions on our record.
And we're not talking about Bill Cosby, so just stop. Just stop. Don't. We ain't talking about that. We're just talking about
that's a whole other hour.
the truth is that just because a person gets convicted does not mean that they were guilty. If that were not the case, we wouldn't have cases like Brian Banks. We wouldn't have cases where people have been in jail for 40 some odd years, and then exculpatory evidence is now made visible and they have been released from prison. So that's all we're talking about. Go ahead.
Right. I mean, but we can't talk about things like that without talking about the full line of of our justice system. It was not set up for everyone. It was set up for just us, and we weren't the us. So we have reaped the negativity behind that for years, and it's going to take years and generations to fix, where people have said and done wrong just to convict someone of color, someone of a less financial status, making deals because deals are made so that someone can go off with a lesser charge and live his life, but we'll go ahead and make this other individual suffer for a lesser offense, if you will. That is what's going on.
Let me ask you one more thing before we go. So is it possible to be supportive of and respectful of those who've suffered domestic violence and sexual assault, and be sensitive to the restoration or the development of someone who's been accused of sexual assault, domestic violence, and other things? Is it possible to do both?
It is possible to do both, because people can change. When someone admits that they have done wrong, when they have stopped making excuses and blaming, they have made amends, and they have accepted their responsibility and recognized that abuse was a choice that they made. They have identified what their triggers were to stop the pattern and the controlling thing. Then yes, we can support someone who has gone through that process and come out on the other side better.
I almost feel like that's not my friend, so it don't need to be your friend. Again, that's minimizing, and I don't mean to do that. But I just feel like people are being forced to choose one when we're mature enough to do more things than just one. I don't know. We don't have enough time. Shirley Walker King, I'm going to have you back, because this was good. A lot of comments that we weren't able to get to. Please tell everybody where they can find you and follow you, and I will set up a time for us to come back and do this again.
Okay. You can always follow me at Shirley Walker King. My website is shirleywalkerking.com. I'm Shirley Walker King on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and on Twitter, I am Miss SWK, the number 1. And always, if you can't find me there, you can always find me somewhere on one of her sites. Where are we at?
There it is. Valencia King. Shirley, I love you. Tell my brother Vincent I said hey, and tell Valencia Unc loves her, please.
I sure will. Thank you for having me. I appreciate being here.
Thank you for the adult conversation. We got to get ready to go. Donnie McClurkin up next with the Donnie McClurkin Show. He'll give you the best in gospel music, the latest in the gospel music industry. Donnie does his thing every Monday through Friday from 2 to 3. Don't forget, if you've experienced sexual assault, domestic violence, there is help out there for you. You do not have to suffer those situations alone. So please seek help. And again, our conversations today were not as those of experts, but just those from a conversation. As always, let's not be divided. Let's be united. I love you. I truly do. And there is absolutely nothing you can do about it. Y'all take care. We'll talk to you later. Donnie McClurkin up next.
The legendary 1140 AM KYOK Conroe and 92.3 FM K222CX Houston. Are you ready?